Ahoy, hoy! This is DJ Force 10 in Conversation, episode 103. Yes, we are 103 episodes deep, and this is a very special interview this week with Derrick Green. He is the front man from the Brazilian metal band Sepultura. They've got a new album out called Quadra, which is out now on Nuclear Blast. Go check it out. It is a fantastic album. At the time of recording this podcast, I'd only heard one track. This was actually recorded way before the holidays. And I'm only now just putting it out just purely... I was supposed to come out in January, but I got delayed with various ailments for me and my family and stuff. We just... decided to take it easy for a month, get life out of the way, because it's one of those long months where... you know, just after the holidays and stuff, and you know, work back in and all that kind of stuff. It wasn't ideal. It wasn't in a great place to actually produce something. But here we are now, February. I edited this literally yesterday, so we are up and running on that front, and it's out. And yes, we've now got an album out by Sepultura. It came out on the 7th, so like I say, go check it out. For people that listened to my last episode with Midjor, thank you very much, especially for the feedback, the positive notes and stuff like that people had passed on to me, which I absolutely appreciated, just purely on the basis that they were all positive, and that's great for the mind. And yeah, it was just it was good to hear that people were listening, and they really enjoyed the chat with Midge. I really enjoyed it as well. So he's got a couple of dates coming up. I say a couple. He's got a full tour coming up. So do check that out. Go to midjor.com and check out the dates if any of them are near you. And if they are, grab some tickets. Go see it. You'll enjoy the show. There's loads of tracks you'll enjoy, and also the banter in between them if you get the Q&A shows. It'll be good fun. But yeah, apart from that, completing my 365 days of scratching. How do you feel, Barnaby? What are you going to do? Where are you going to go? I hear you all scream. Disneyland. No, not Disneyland. I'm going into my next project. My next project is to produce an album. Currently, lame project title, DJ Force 10 in song. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's not going to remain that. But yeah, I intend to produce an album. I feel I've got an album in me, at least one album in me. Maybe more, but at the moment I just want to concentrate on the one. It's quite a big task to say album, but what I'm going to do is write a whole bunch of tracks, whittle it down, maybe throw in a couple of covers, get some special guests on there, get some of my friends to play on it, because I'm not good at every instrument, and yeah, we'll see where it goes. That's the sort of thing. I didn't expect anything to come from my scratching endeavour. It was a personal challenge. This one again, it's a personal challenge, so we'll see how that goes. It's one of those things where, you know, it could go any direction. I know what sort of styles I want to do. I've got some ideas for those various styles and stuff, but you know, you'll see some metal, you'll see some electronica, you'll see some sort of like hip hop side of things as well, and yeah, I just want to see if I can get those styles like in a cohesive album rather than just sort of this track's this track's this track's this. I know those tracks cross over, those styles cross over, but yeah, I just want to see if I can produce that album that I feel I've got inside me. So keep your eyes peeled. You'll only hear snippets on this show as well. Yeah, that's the only place you'll hear it, would be on here, just purely because this is my outlet. And it's a good reason to listen. You know, you can listen to the first 5 minutes of me warbling on, and then you'll hear some tracks, or you'll hear it at the end. But also listen for the interviews, because that's what's great as well. I get to speak to these musicians, pick their brains, ask them questions, obviously get the promotion out of the way, because that's their sort of like main focus point. But, you know, find some interesting tidbits about them and stuff like that, which this is what I try and do with my interviews. Don't keep them generic, because I've got the podcast format. You've got all the kind of like other bits to sort of pick on that people would find interesting in the sort of promotional stage. Because all I could do is just get a bunch of like generic interviews and just throw them in. I could do that, but I don't. I want to actually talk to them and get them to in a good place and have that, you know, moments with them, which is kind of cool. But yeah, with Derrick, it's fantastic. I think I caught them at a good time. I think he hadn't fully started the sort of cycle of interviews yet, which was great, because he's trying to get that sort of like interviewed out kind of attitude. But this was great. We had a few connection problems, but I think I've edited it up. You might not notice, but the connection does dip in and out, so I apologise for that first and foremost. But I think it doesn't affect the interview too much. Like I said, I've edited out most of it, so hopefully it won't be too much on that front. But you get to hear him talk about the album, the single they released at the time, and a whole bunch of other stuff as well, some of his personal interests and things like that he's got going on, which was absolutely magnificent. It was great on that front, as most of my interviews are. I don't think I've really had a massively bad, awkward one. Well, one comes to mind, but... that was a very short interview, so it didn't really matter in the end. But yes, this is Derrick from Sepultura. I hope you guys enjoy it. Till then, subscribe, like, all that kind of stuff across the socials. Are very easy to find at DJFORCEX. That's on all the sort of main socials. I haven't got a Snapchat or a TikTok or whatever, but I've got the Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all the old people stuff as well. So yeah, do check us out on there, and yeah, let us know what you like, what you don't like, what you want to hear, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, until then, enjoy. Well, Derrick, welcome to the show. Thank you for having some time to do this.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Absolutely. It's the very beginning of doing interviews and for this whole new album cycle. So it's very exciting. You got me at a good moment.
Oh, that's good to know. That's good to know, because I didn't know how many of these you've done so far. So I didn't know if you were interviewed out already.
Oh, no, not at all.
Ah, excellent.
Not at all. Very fresh.
Excellent. Good stuff. Well, let's start with the single you released last month, which is from the new album Quadra. It was called Isolation. And for those that haven't heard it yet, it's a hell of a song, to be honest with you. I know it opens the new album. It certainly it was one of the tracks that kind of like it took me a little bit by surprise. I'm not sure why. It was I think it was more, I'm sort of used to you guys being sort of full on like the sort of thrash metal, straight in, balls out,
right.
kick drums going and snares kicking and stuff like that. So with this one, you kind of it really does build up. It's very progressive with the intro and things like that. It has an electrical feel to it at the start. You have this like build up, this kind of swell, and then you're straight in with the track. I was just sort of curious as to what that track was about.
We had a lot of different topics that were very relevant and very interesting topics that are happening now, and that we're really kind of exposed to socially and personally. And so we talk about everything we're going to write about before we even get into the actual music aspect. So with this isolation, I was really, and always have been really disgusted with the justice system in the United States.
Yeah.
And the fact that we use isolation as a punishment for prisoners. And I always thought this was a very inhumane way of and actually psychologically it drives them absolutely insane. And it does nothing into rehabilitation of a prisoner, of a human being. It's actually the opposite of what they need. Humans naturally need human contact, and depriving them of that will drive them insane. And so I felt there's a lot of things in the justice system that need to be changed. Not only that, just for the fact that it was very bizarre, the fact that the United States, a first world country, has most of the people, more people in prison than any other place in the world. And so obviously there's something that's not working.
Yeah.
And hasn't been working. And so it just really goes into that, with that survival, that abuse that happens, and just how, it really can screw with a person's mind.
Yeah, no, that's all true. I didn't realize the song was about that. But yeah, no, I mean, I lived in the States for a while, and you can kind of see. Well, I saw how things worked, so it's not ideal, to put it lightly, which is better than most of the policeman's reactions of shooting first, then asking questions. So. It's but yeah, no, definitely the incarceration side of things is a definite topic of heavy debate, which they don't seem to have over there. It always seems to fall on other things. But I guess prison is business to them, isn't it? So onto the album, Quadra, which is out next year. Out in February for those that are looking to get it. It's out on Nuclear Blast as well. What sort of what can we expect from the album? Does it follow the similar theme to the single? Because I know a few of your albums you've had before have a sort of central theme, Clockwork Orange, stuff like that. Does this one follow that suit, or is it more of a more of a just sort of like a non-concept?
I think it's more elaborate. I mean, we really at the very beginning we wanted to break the album down to almost 4 sides. Like A side of an album, like a double album, like we imagined it. So it'd be like A side, C side, kind of. Each of those sides would be a part of Sepultura history. Different that have happened in Sepultura history, where we have the thrash side, which is Isolation being the first song.
Yeah.
Really encompassing that air. And then there's more of the B side, where it's more of the tribal rhythms coming from like almost the roots, with the experimental type side of C, more of like Machine Messiah, and instrumental song again. And then having a kind of a D side being more of a melodical side, even with more clean vocals and a mixture of clean vocals. So to really give it, where you're going through an actual journey, the topics were so in song. There's a lot of this themes of using very heavy instrumentation from an orchestra and choir, to really not hold back. We had like epic songs or epic topics, so we so as far as like a real choir, a Swedish choir sings. And then there's those electronic elements that you were talking about, even using those elements and just really expanding.
That sounds awesome. I was, I'm looking forward to hearing. I've only heard the one track, but which song are you releasing next? Do you know that yet?
I believe it's going to be Last Time. It's called. It's going to be very soon. Actually, I'm not really sure the actual release date.
Okay,
but it's a song about addiction. Even though it's a massive problem, I think in a lot of different places, especially in the first world and America now with fentanyl.
Yeah.
But there's also many addictions that it can relate to. Even personal addictions that I had to like deal with, not necessarily drug, just bad habits or just being in this kind of addictive age, where people become attached to so many, and about breaking outside of that box, but and having to do that yourself, not being somebody having to mentor yourself. So it's in one of the third songs on the album, and it's still in that thrash vibe.
Okay,
very, very in your face, very aggressive, very chaotic in a way, because the song kind of has a feeling of like an addict, Yeah, it's just really has that feeling about it. So it's just very positive with the first thing. I think it's going to be definitely be a representation of the thrash era of Sepultura, and there's a lot of that feeling, schizophrenia within the song itself. And so I'm looking forward to hear the reaction of this song. I think it will really pull people in to what the whole album will sound like together.
Awesome. No, that's good. I mean, because obviously you've been in Sepultura for quite a while now. And
right,
what does it
20 years.
Yeah, quite a while. And so I was just sort of curious what the sort of because the band has obviously moved along quite a bit. As with most bands, you get a lot of changing members and stuff like that. But what do you think Sepultura means to the fans these days? Because not that it's sort of obviously with like the sort of bigger personalities leaving the band, and you guys have continued to make quality music. I was just sort of curious as to your sort of what Sepultura means to you. What do you think it means to the fans out there now that this sort of lineup has been a bit more apparent, or a bit more, what's the word? No, it's like the lineup has been stable. There we go.
Right.
To a certain degree, obviously, there's a few sort of things here and there, but you've had a good, like, solid, like 3-4 members.
True. Now it definitely has been a good solid run so far, with keeping the same drummer for the past 3 albums. It was almost like a curse before. We get to almost 3 with one person, then it would be over. I mean, with Igor, there was definitely more albums. And people forget very quickly, we heard a lot of the same things that people were saying before when Max left the band.
Yeah.
And Igor was in the band, and he's an original member.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. I realize that a lot of people didn't really know what they were talking about. They were just kind of saying what other people are saying.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the majority of way people run in groups that don't want to be singled out. They want to be a part of a group of, people saying the same thing.
Yeah.
And for me, that's always been, I'm coming from a hardcore punk rock scene where I was like, fuck that. I never wanted that. That was the reason why I got into underground music. So you can have your own opinion and not be a part of this fucking gang of people and like, yeah, you're right, man. You don't want to stand out and look different. I was like, no, I always wanted to stand out, always look different. And that was something that's continued with Sepultura. We were a band from Brazil. Like you said, I've been in the band for over 20 years. Yeah. I had to move to Brazil, and I learned the language. There's like a really beautiful history about the band, even before I was in the band, but it's still continuing onwards. And for people who want to hear it, who want to see it, want to investigate it for themselves and not pay so much attention to what's happening online or what their other friend is saying or what this old school friend is saying. I mean, it's just like they start just becoming old. Yeah. It's not like old school. It's like those people just end up becoming really old. I mean, I'm no spring chicken, but at the same time, mentally wise, like I still want to create music and try new things and listen to new music and go out and see shows. But there's a lot of people that just get so trapped in the past. And that's not only in the music scene, but just in general in life. Yeah. They get in the comfort zone and they find it very hard to step outside of that. And they become like your parents are like, oh, I don't understand that. There's nothing good now. Oh, this is just noise. And that's what these people are saying, that grew up listening to like heavy metal music. I'm like, what the fuck happened to you people? It's just nothing good now. That sucks. And all they do is just complain about how it's not the same. It's like, obviously it's not the same. Nothing's the same. Everything has been passing you by, changing. That's life. Yeah. And that's sad in a way. But at the same time, what's really inviting is the fact that there are people that weren't around then or whatever, who are listening to new things, who have their own opinion and go to shows. And that's what's really kept Sepultura alive, that open mentality. Even there are old fans that are like that too as well. But it took them some time to get used to, change, but change is going to happen, whether you like it or not. And it's just, it's just life in general. So I think once people get used to an idea or actually investigate for themselves, and they realize, like, I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. And we actually write this, we have songs about that, questioning things in front of you. Born in a quadra. A quadra is a playing field. In Brazil, in Portuguese, it means like a court.
Yeah.
And so within that court, you have a set of rules and things that you're taught. And there's many quadras around the world. People are born into certain situations where they have no control over really so much, to a certain degree. And they abide by laws and rules. And they, a lot of times, don't question why they're so amped up and fanatical about a certain cause. It's just like, oh, I was taught that. And it's like, but why do you really like it? It's like, they don't really know. Or why are you defending this so much when you don't really know? So I think the album dives into that. But the history of the band has always been that let's question everything, let's move forward, let's, keep that attitude that really, excited people getting into the band.
Yeah.
And I think the people that can really that, and obviously there are, because we wouldn't be here still today. But it's really pushed us, in a lot of ways, even that, wow, all right, let me just dig deep into this, vocally or musically on stage best I possibly can. And so in a lot of ways, it's useful. And it may sound weird, all the negative stuff, but it really, we've been able to do so much and expand, I can't really complain.
Well, I was just like, my next sort of question was like, how do you deal with the constant like reunion rumors and stuff like that? Because obviously, you've covered a lot of it in that last statement. Because
I know the actual reality of the situation, because it's actually I'm a part of that of Sepultura, so I know what's really going on as far as these type of talks. But it's something that people, promoters, people that want to make money off of an idea that's very simple.
Yeah.
They don't have to work very hard at it to do it. It's like, the old songs are there. Yeah, we'll do a tour. We'll make a lot of money from it. And they put that out. It's always been like that. Even, from like I said, even when playing with Igor, they would hear shit that was crazy. It's just like, oh yeah, since Max wrote Sepultura, wrote all the songs, Igor, would get fucking pissed off. It's just not true. It's like, it's like the band has always been about like everyone participating, especially I think the band really developed when Andreas actually joined, and most people know all the songs when he actually band. So, it's the reunion type shit is just, it's really, if they want a reunion, they have the reunion of brothers and they can go see them.
Yeah.
And if they feel that's Sepultura, then that's fine. But contact with us. What they want to do, we're doing what we want to do, and we're all very happy doing these things separately. Obviously, it didn't work in the past and be a complete bullshit tour just to do it, because it would be only about money. It wouldn't be about anything as far as being friends, the unity, it'd be completely bullshit. And sometimes those tours end up killing a band. Actually, that's it. And then you do a reunion because there's some fans that want to see that, and then they're like, oh, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Oh, I was expecting something different. It's like, well, fuck you. Like, you never try to do something only to please, fans, because you're going to kill yourself.
Yeah.
It's going to be impossible. You're never going to be able to please everybody. But like I said, they can check them out. They can check us out. They can enjoy both. There's no harm in doing that.
Yeah. No, it's very true. It's very true. No, thank you for that. It was that was a sort of topic I wasn't sure about, so I didn't know how well that. But no, thank you for answering those questions. So
because it's do that, and we've never followed. At least try to stay away. They're only, what I'm saying. They're just a moment for like a really. A phase, So sometimes they could, reunions can be cool, and a lot of times I feel that they're really fucking bullshit.
Yeah. No, it's true. That's true. There's just so many going on right now as well. It's kind of swamps the market, and then those bands go away, and then they come back again. So
it's like a bandwagon, and it's just like very predictable.
There's always an album to celebrate.
But like you're saying, it's hard, why, and also to go back, I think it's very difficult for Andreas and Paulo to even think about that as well, because we're so happy creating new stuff now, like we have been for such a long time. Great tours, having a great time. Basically, like, I was like, wow, I've never imagined we'd be able to do extras and jams, and why go backwards? It's like, fuck, all right, well, let's drop every new stuff and just, it just doesn't make sense.
What are your plans for the touring this album? Obviously, are you going to be hitting the UK and all that kind of stuff?
Absolutely, a full UK tour. We really held back from touring last year because we wanted to focus on the album and have that time to do all the preparation for the album. And so now our goal is to do 2020 and 2021, a massive world tour. As much as possible, the UK, it's always been great for us and a great history for Sepultura. And so we're really looking forward. We're going to do a lot of festivals. Again, it's going to take some time, but we're going to try to hit as many places as possible. And we feel that we have a catalog now where, and with this new album, we can really, travel the world and try as many places as possible.
Awesome. Well, I've got a couple more questions for you, so we can just wrap up.
Okay.
Not to keep you any further, because I know you've probably got a few others to do. So,
a few.
Sorry.
Yeah, just a few.
Just a few. So this is more a reflection on yourself, these questions. It's the sort of question I ask pretty much every musician that I speak to. It's quite a big question, so bear with me. What are your 3 top albums that kind of shape you into the sort of man you are now or musician that you are now?
It'd definitely be Bad Brains' Rock for Light.
Nice.
It would be Cro-Mag's Age of Quarrel.
Ooh. And
it would probably be oh God, I know it's gonna sound it would. This is a tough one. The third one is difficult because it's third one I would say Rush, Moving Pictures.
Oh, amazing. That's a great album. Cool. And finally, what are your hobbies away from music? So when you're not out with Sepultura or any of your other projects, what do you do to kind of as a hobby?
Okay. For 33 years now, I haven't eaten meat.
Oh, cool.
And I've traveled a lot around the places and noticed the change of people changing to a plant-based lifestyle.
Yeah.
That I never imagined would make this change. Because actually having a lot of health issues, a lot of problems with the actual earth, as of what people are eating. And I felt this was such an important topic that I teamed up with another musician who's from Ireland. She's based, her name is Tanya O'Callaghan. She's playing with Steven Adler from Guns N' Roses now, the original drummer.
Yeah.
And she's also played with Dee Schneider and a lot of different musicians. And so we're doing this TV show called Highway to Health. And basically we do interviews with people from all around the world. We go there, different chefs, different celebrities, musicians, and based lifestyle. A lot of the people on the program that are going to be on the program aren't necessarily vegans or have a plant-based lifestyle, but that was the point. We wanted to have a lot of variety in the guests and to just talk about the issue, break a lot of stereotypes that exist behind it, introduce people to a lifestyle that starts basically maybe one meal a day, to even think about that, how that changes the environment, how it changes the life of an actual animal on this earth. Have that respect for other beings and and nature and the future, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just something that's going very well. We're getting a lot of support, and, you know, we're going to be all over the globe.
Cool.
And, you know, we're going to bring stuff that we're doing in Sepultura so people can see, like, what do you eat on tour? How do you shop? How do you maintain muscle mass? All these questions that can ask, you know, it can be answered on the show. So it's going really well.
Excellent. Well, I'm gonna look out for that because I'm sort of interested in that side of things and sort of getting into that side of things. But yeah, no, with all the information that's out there now, it's making it a lot more accessible for us. So trying to sort of introduce a couple of meals a week with the kids and stuff, just to sort of you know, make it a family thing.
And that's fantastic. I mean, that's, for me, that's the most important thing, is like to think about it and to implement just a little bit of change at time for each person. You know, I don't expect everyone to be plant-based. I'm thinking realistically of like the consumption, you know. Think about where you are getting your, because it's clear, are the health issues exist, and also the effect that it has on the planet. So
yeah, cool. Well, Derrick, thank you very much again for doing this. I'm going to set you free now to your next interview.
Okay.
But thank you for doing this. Good luck. Good luck with the album, and I look forward to seeing you guys on tour next year.
All right, man. Take care.